in here. What truly defines a great dad? Is it the bedtime stories? Is it the private school? Is it the vacations? Or is it being more present? Or is it being able to give them presents, their own room, a better community, a better neighborhood? What is it? What truly defines a great dad? Right? Is it the trips? The daddy-daughter trips? Son and dad trips? Like, what is it? Like, what defines a great dad? Like, that's a question that I've been asking myself, like, a lot. Because when you're a dad and you have kids, it starts to shift the way you're thinking, the way you're looking at things, right? Most dad, we start to look at it and we're thinking of future, right? We're thinking of making sure my family's taken care of, making sure that they have a future, making sure that our ceiling is their floor, right? That we keep on moving up, keep on rising, keep on rising. And sometimes we'll sacrifice time at home for the future, a better future for them. But have you considered that all that is important, but it's not as important as you working on you. You working on past trauma that you might have that you haven't addressed. Working on you and knowing how to express your feelings, your emotion, express your feelings and emotion. How to lead by example and not just by word, but also being present by words and not just by example. Like, all that is important. And it's also important to be able to go back up your lineage to your dad, your dad's dad, your dad's dad's dad. Maybe your grandma, your grandma's mother, like going up and understanding who those people were. Because I'm a firm believer that there's things that we inherit in our DNA from those that came before us. And sometimes it's not directly our parents. And so whenever we can go, we can understand that, then things inside of us start to make more sense. Right? I've shared before that for me, I remember today we had a basketball tournament for Oliver. And I was watching the basketball tournament. There was a dad sitting next to me, and we started to talk and engage. And he was sharing, like, how he had 2 kids, and his last one is here playing basketball. He's 14 years old. And then, we just started sharing, just like 45 minutes for practice, all that kind of stuff. But you can tell that it was a sense of, I'm doing this because I'm a great dad, right? I'm just driving 45 minutes twice a week for him to go in and practice. And then we got into this conversation when I shared with him. I was like, like most of my life when I was little, until probably my 30s, when I realized is that I had this feeling of inferiority. And it happened because I felt like, I felt inferior because since I was little, I was born in Africa. Black people would tell me I'm white. White people would tell me I'm black. And I was just not being fully accepted in either side, right? And sometimes they'll make jokes, and that, if people have to go back to their country, black people go to Africa, white people go to Europe, but mixed kids, you go in the ocean. And it's just like stirred this thing in me that, yes, made me sad, but because of who I am, in the fight or flight mode, I just fight. And so for me, I fought, always. I wasn't the best at communicating because I was speaking fast. Just didn't have, my brain was moving faster than my mouth could articulate what I felt. And so if you didn't understand me, or I couldn't get the words out, and I just want to fight, right? And what that also created is this ego, right? Or feel like, I'm gonna be strong like black people and smart like white people. Like, that was just the way I was thinking. But what I did is, like, yes, it did serve me well instead of sport, but not well instead of being a dad, not well instead of being a husband, not good at all, because I would have that same attitude, right? And so I used for the longest, for the longest, I used to feel like it was just a me thing. Until I went back and I started to realize that, no, there's this anger thing, this feeling less than was there a little while. It's been there. I remember this, this story. Maybe I don't have all my facts right, but, my great grandma, right, was pregnant when she was like 13, 14, 15, something like that, and had my grandma, right? So my great grandma was black, working for a white family, and as soon as she got pregnant, she got kicked out. And so imagine at that age, being homeless and trying to figure out life with the brown baby in Africa, where most of the time, I'm assuming, if they see a black woman or black lady with the brown kid, right away is like, what? Hey, you got taken advantage of. And that's how you got this baby. And so you can only imagine that for her wanting to protect her baby, what did she do? And that baby growing up in that space, what did she do? How did she feel? Right? It's been this weirdest thing. When my dad passed away, I shared that a lot, that something inside of me broke, but also something inside of me opened up. And I started to just feel just a lot more emotional about so many things, like just being able to feel people's feeling more than I used to in the past, right? That used to be one of my weakness, or just like a low level of empathy for people, right? Like not able to really feel what people are feeling and just say, suck it up, just move. And so in this season of life, like I really am feeling what she was feeling, because I felt this way. Like I felt this moment of you're here and then you just don't feel a place to belong. And then you go to Belgium, where I move after that, and it's kind of the same thing. And then you move to the US and it's kind of the same thing. And so just never having this thing, and so still having this ego that is there, because this ego is there to protect you, to protect the little kid that was hurt, that just wanted to belong, to be part of. And the more you share that with others, the more you realize, the whole conversation sometimes that we have of just like, black and brown men just being like just those, those angry black men, right? Or angry black or brown men. And sometimes it's like this anger is not even from you. It's not even your anger. But you're carrying sometimes the anger of those that were there before that just didn't have an opportunity to do anything. And although they were smart, although they were doing the hard work, just still not being given the opportunity to do it. And so you are carrying that. You're carrying that anger. And eventually, because you're never really going to address it, you transfer that anger. Because it got given to you and then you transferred it out. Versus getting to this place of accepting, declaring that you are the one. That you are the one. You are the one that is going to break those chains. Right? Sometimes people call it generational curses. I just don't like the word curses. I don't think it's necessarily like a curse, but to break those shackles, right? The best way, like I have this representation in my head, is just like that there's a line and you are connected to people that came before you, right? Almost like shackles, right? You're connected to them. We're gonna get posted here. Maybe the internet is better here. Okay. So I was sharing kind of this visual of you're in the line and you're connected to your ancestors, to people that were there before you. And sometimes you don't know that you're connected with things that are not necessarily great. You know, things like anger, maybe things like feeling inferior. And inside of your own life, you develop those things thinking that's yours, but it's actually because you're still connected to them. And then your kids are connected to you. And so they're already dead. They're not here anymore. But you're still carrying the weight of all of them, of all those little things. And so you have to get to the place where, you know, you declare and decide that you are this chain breaker, that you're going to break those chains from previous generations, the bad stuff, and also break the chains to the current generation, the bad stuff, so that they can have a clean slate, so that you can have freedom. Because I said before, everybody wants to be a king, but not every king is a free man. And so, to me, what truly defines a great dad is one that's willing to do the work. Willing to do the work inside of himself. Inside of himself, to be able to heal past trauma, to be able to address the darkness that's in him, not shy away from it, not hide from it, but go into the dark and shed the light, so that the next generation doesn't carry that. Because make no mistake, what does not get transformed in you will get transferred to them, and they're not even going to know why. They're going to think it's them, but you are going to know it's not. And you know, the funny thing is, sometimes it's not even your kids, right? Sometimes it's that next generation. So your kids. And so you there as the grandparent can see it in your grandkids. And you know exactly where it was. And you know exactly that you are afraid of facing it. And so here they are struggling with it, where you had a chance to be able to heal it. I don't want to say fix it, because it doesn't have to get fixed. You just have to heal from it. You have to heal from those things, but you have to dig deep. You have to be able to look back, to study your lineage and see what the story of it. You know, what's funny is like there's so many families that don't have any kind of written record of their family. And so you'd never really know. You never really know what actually happened, how your great-granddad was doing and who he was and his temper and things he was struggling with. Never. But whenever you decide that you are the one, you declare it, you are the one inside of your lineage, the one that is going to break those chains of addiction, the chains of anger, of depression, of anxiety. Break them like you have a sword and you are just slashing those chains so that you're no longer attached. Because if you are the one that breaks the chains, then now this next generation is free and they have a clean slate to build on. Right? Because at that point, like this dad becomes the myth, the legend. But you don't become the dad, the myth, the legend without also writing what happened. Giving something for the next generation to know, where they can read your story, where they can read how you did it, where they can read how you thought, when they can read how you felt, where they can read the bold decision that you made. Like, I'm pretty sure that my kids would want to know, how did Julian J. Marion, our great granddad, how did he do all that stuff? How did he write all those books? How did he leave Belgium at 18? How was he homeless at 18 for a little bit? And was sleeping on the floor, then the couch at a friend's house because his whole family wanted to kick him out. Like, how did he do it when he wasn't home? Then how did you have 6 kids and build a business and was able to do all that kind of stuff? How did he almost get divorced a couple of times or lost his wife by disconnection? Like, how did he do it? And how did he build this enterprise and this legacy? Like, that's how you become the dad, the myth, the legend inside of your lineage. By working on you, healing past trauma, disconnecting to past generation for all the bad stuff, and allowing the new generation to have a clean slate, documenting how your journey is so that they can have it. But it doesn't start if you don't raise your hand and say, I am that person. I'm not just here to live my life. Yes, I'm going to live my life, but I am an anchor inside of my lineage. Yes, me. And to some extent, it does take a crazy person to say it. But not everybody is a legend. And I'm pretty sure if you look at your family tree, you know a couple people that just stand out. That you're like, ooh, yep, this one. So imagine you being that person inside of your lineage. That's my mission. Whenever I left corporate, God had given me a sign. He said, go out, launch into the deep, cast down your nets, and they will be full. And then I did it. And then years later, probably like 8 years later, he had given me another one. He said, now put those nets down and follow me. We're going to be fishers of men. And I didn't quite understand what it meant. And then I did. And then that's what I'm pursuing. Being able to have this movement of dads that are raising their hand and saying, yes, I am. I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm the dad, the myth, the legend instead of my family tree, instead of my lineage. I'm the one that's going to break those chains of addiction, of pain, of inferiority to make sure the next generation is free. I'm that legend that is going to come in and be in my heart more than in my head. And being able to pass on to them something beautiful for generations and generations. Healing 7 generations back and 7 generations later. I'm the one. And so that's the movement that I've been called to lead. And men are already standing up and coming forth because they feel it also inside. And so, if that's you, if you feel it inside, you feel called, then reach out. Because the more we can have those dads that want to be those legends, that want to break those chains, that want to give more than just private schools and private lessons and vacations and iPads and tablets and private rooms and all that stuff. They want more than just give that. They want to actually give the next generation freedom by giving themselves freedom. Because you can't give them freedom if you are still this king that is in jail because of the grind, because of the pain, because of the no community, because of nobody that can watch your 6 or give you perspective. You're just that king, but you're not free. That's you. Reach out. All right. You ready? Julian Marion signing out. Say, remember to release it, be seen, don't hide. Peace out.